Hello friends, in this video I am finishing up the Salon Suite Makeover. Who's ready for the final reveal? Sit back and watch as I DIY the final creations to put up in the salon and then the tour of the salon final makeover. Let's get started. I've had these cute little coasters for about 5 years in my salon, so I thought I would just use my heat gun to remove the cork and flip them over. We could use the inside. So I used my Titebond Quick and Thick to adhere them, and I like the cork because it's very absorbent, which is what the coasters are supposed to do. I used a little bit of hot glue to give me an immediate hold. And then I decided I was going to put some stamps on. Now this ink is permanent ink, and so I'm just going to use this little butterfly from the Pastiche stamp from IOD, and I'm just going to randomly stamp one with the China Blue ink on each one. I did not seal these. If that ink runs or does anything crazy, then I'll just get some new coasters. I'm just repurposing these, so I'm not going to be real pedantic about them, but I think they turned out cute, and you'll see that they look really cute in the salon at the final reveal at the end of this video, so stay tuned. This is another super easy, quick, and easy makeover. Okay, I picked this up at Goodwill for 99 cents, and it was super cute, as is, but I'm going to take off this white raffia ribbon and replace it with some cuter, softer, shabby chic lace ribbon. I'm just going to remove that very simply, throw that over there. I'm probably not going to reuse that. I made a little resin flower, and I'm going to paint that in Petticoat Pink by DIY. I get all my DIY paints from Sammy over at unicorndustdesigns.com. She has DIY paints and IOD products. You want to go over and check her website out. I always have it linked in my description box below. Now, I got this lace from Chic, and I'm going to use a combination of Titebond and hot glue to adhere this. Now, I don't always do things the easiest way, but this is how I did it. I used a little hot glue and a little bit of Titebond. Now, if I would have just put the Titebond all around where I wanted it to, and then gone back and put the hot glue where I wanted it, then that probably would have been easier. But, you know, I don't always do things the easy way. But it worked, and I got it done, and I just kept going all the way around with this beautiful lace. This is kind of almost like a cotton. I guess it is more like a cotton lace, so it's a little bit thicker, and it's really soft. It's really pretty, and I love it. And I've used it a lot in the salon decor. So I'm just making it all nice and secure. I'm going to use this for my pens and pencils and things like that that sit on my little, it's not really a desk, but I use it as a desk. You will see in the reveal. And then I'm just going to make a little shabby bow with, you know, my favorite chiffon lace and a couple pieces of that and the cotton ribbon. I'm going to take a little piece of embroidery thread and cinch it up and tie it in the middle. I'm going to glue that to this little tin. I think it's maybe a planter. I'm not real sure, but it's super cute. It's very lightweight. I'm going to glue it right there, and then I'm going to glue that little flower medallion type thing. It's part of the rosettes mold right to the center, and then I decided it was just a little too plain. I'm going to zhuzh it up just a little bit with a little bit of that ribbon, and I didn't want to just put it on there straight across, so I twisted it a little bit and left it a little bit loose, and I just did that all the way around because, you know, we're kind of going for a little bit of a cottage shabby chic look. So I just this is very much what I did in the 90s as well. It's a little bit of a throwback, but I love this look. And there we go. And this is what it looks like all finished up. I've had these huge metal scissors in my salon I found at Michael's on clearance a couple years ago. And very rarely do you find scissors that actually look like hair cutting scissors. They usually look like sewing scissors. So I was really thrilled. So I mixed a custom gray color that I liked, and I painted the entire thing with that gray. And then I'm going to darken it up a little bit, and I'm going to just almost outline it. I'm not really dry brushing it. I'm just getting the bulk of the color off. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I'm not dry brushing. I have plenty of paint on my brush. I'm just outlining it. And I'm using old school now, but I did not clean my paintbrush out. So I'm just trying to really darken up that gray and really then go back in a few spots and where it would be like dark shadows and give it another little outline. I think I did this on almost all the way around, actually, because I like that little dark edge. It always makes it look like it's outlined. Like when I was a kid and I colored, or even when I still color, I like to outline with a little bit darker color than what I've colored the bulk of it with. So that's what I did here on the inside and the outside. And then I'm going to take the rosette mold from IOD, and this might be rosettes too. I can't remember. And then I'm going to put some cornstarch in the mold, and I'm going to take the DOS air dry clay and just press it in there all the way down. And then I'm going to take that little brayer tool. I really can't remember who I saw do that, but it's kind of genius on these smaller molds. And then I'm just going to take this little tool. I don't even know where I got it. It came with something I bought. And I'm just going to make it nice and flat and smooth and use that little edge that's on there naturally. And then I'm just going to bend it, and it just kind of flops right out of there. And then I always take my finger and kind of roll that little edge under, because sometimes there's some little crusties. And now I'm going to use some Type Bond Quick and Thick to adhere it right there where that screw should be on the scissors. Now on this, I was being a little facetious, and I was like, okay, to my husband, that is not where the screw should be. That is way too low. Yeah, well, it's just for looks. Okay, so then I decide I'm going to paint it white, and then I decide I don't really like it white, and I come in with some silver leaf rub and buff, and this made it so beautiful. I just took it on my fingertips and rubbed. I was just going to rub it on the high points at first, just a few, and then I thought it was so pretty that I just went to town and I just rubbed it all over it, and it really turned out pretty. Let me know what you think about this. I'm a silver girl, not a gold. So I love my grays and golds. And then I took this kind of blush color chiffon ribbon, and there were some holes at the top of this. There was a wire hanger previously that I took off, and I'm going to just go ahead and utilize those holes, and I'm going to pull this chiffon ribbon through the holes to make a little hanger. I didn't really mean to get the white through there. It just sort of attached itself and came on through. And I'm just trying to figure out how tall I want it, because I'm going to tie a knot in the top. And I'm using my little tweezers because, you know, it's kind of hard to get my little fingers up, my little fat fingers up in there. So just make a little knot so that that doesn't go through the hole. And there you go. Now, I haven't cut the other end yet because I want to see how long I want it. I'm going to go ahead and tie the knot first. And then, see, I thought ahead this time. This is not the norm for me, just so you know. And then I'm going to see how long I want it. And then I'm going to cut and tie the other knot. That was a smart move. That was a smart move, Kendra. See, I don't always think that way first. So I was kind of proud of myself for that one. And there we go. Now I'm going to take a little piece of the white chiffon ribbon, and I'm going to just tie it right around there. And then I'm going to take a couple of little pieces of the white and the blush and just make a little messy bow. I'm really into doing these little messy bows these days, and they're just so easy and so cute. I'm just going to put a little couple pieces on there, and then that piece that I wrapped around, I'm going to tie in the center. Just tie it up in the center there and fluff it. And then trim it down to the size that I think it looks good on there. And I'm going to put a tad little bit of hot glue around, just a tiny little bit, to secure it so it doesn't slide down. And this one is done. I hope that you are enjoying all these beautiful creations, but I want to remind you about the Crafty Cruise Getaway that's happening in February 2025. If you haven't heard about it yet, I'm going to leave a link to the website in my description box below, and at the end of this video, there will be an ad for it. So stay tuned. My name is Kendra. You're watching Late Night Creations, and I'm glad you're here for the crafting shenanigans. Let's get back to crafting. Okay, my friends, you know it would not be a Late Night Creations video if we didn't do some spindles. This little frame was given to me. It's just a tiny little frame. I couldn't imagine what I was ever going to use it for. And then these beautiful spindles that came off of an old antique chair that was kind of broken down. Now, I thought that I was going to just use some Dark and Decrepit stain by DIY to just clean up and freshen up this frame, but I really didn't. I decided that's not what I wanted to do. So I ended up painting it with a coat of beadboard. Just gave it a good coat with beadboard. Just like so. The entire thing. I did not paint the back, just the front and the sides. This is for me, and nobody's going to see the back, so I didn't waste paint on the back. And I don't know if it's because I put the Dark and Decrepit on first, but it was very easy to paint. Now, I'm going to take that beautiful gray that I have. This is the Aged Gray by Rust-Oleum, and I'm just going to do that little outlining thing again. Just hit the high spots with a little bit of dry brush. It's a little bit wetter than a dry brush. I'm not wiping all of it off. Then I decided I would scrape a little bit of the paint off. Give it just, I don't really want a distressed look, but just maybe a little bit. And I was thinking because that stain was on there, maybe it would scrape off a little bit better, but it kind of didn't. And then now I'm going to seal it with the Varathane Clear Wax. Now I'm using that beautiful Petticoat Pink by DIY again, and I'm using I'm pouncing on with a dauber all over these spindles. I'm going to do all of them. All 5 of them are getting the same color and the same technique. And then I'm going to come back in with some white wax. I guess I'm going to show you painting the whole entire spindle. But it was kind of fun. This was a very fun technique to do. And then I did go in with a wet wipe. Oh yeah, I forgot I did this. I went in and kind of wet distressed it while I was painting them. So I put the paint on. I used a little paintbrush to get in all the little nooks and crannies. And then I used a wet wipe and kind of wiped back the paint. And it gave it a beautiful, like, worn look. Oh, I don't know. I just fell in love with this look. It was kind of a happy accident. I don't remember why. That I was wiping off something, and then it happened it was kind of an accident. So then I decided to just do them all that way. Look how beautiful. Okay, then I take the white wax by DIY with my little makeup brush. I love these makeup brushes. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them on Temu. You can get them on Shein. You can get them anywhere, and they're about the same price everywhere. You can get them at Dollar Tree. And they're great for applying waxes. They're great for stenciling. And I'm just putting that white wax all over it, and then I'm wiping it off with an old piece of a t-shirt. They make great buffing cloths. So don't throw away those old t-shirts. And then you can see the difference, and I love it. Now, I took the Apothecary label stamp, and of course, my black ink. Of course, I did not get this on camera. I was practicing. You'll see in a little bit where I practiced. And then when I finally did the final one, I forgot to record it. So I'm showing you where I do the Psalm 46:10, and there was only one period. So I had to do it. See, I used it for the abbreviation for Psalm, and then I used it for the column for 46:10. The bottom portion of it, and then I covered up the others with some little parchment paper and then stamped so that you know, I'm only getting the dot stamped. But I needed those other numbers to still be on there so I could tell where I needed to put it exactly on there, just like that. See? And then there's no ink on there to mess everything up. Now I'm going to clean it off. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move that little dot up where the top part of the colon should be. And then I'm going to do that same process again so that I can get a full colon on there. Ta-da. Okay, love how that looks. Now I'm going to take the IOD Vintage Textures stamp and some stone gray. And this was an old piece of mat board that I put this on, that I put the Be Still and Know on. I cut it to size for that frame because it was really odd shape. But this was just a scrap piece of mat board. And I'm just going to randomly stamp this. And I think it turns out really good. These stamps are great. They can just add a little extra texture in the background. Now we're going to put this in. And when I flip this over, you're going to see where I practiced. Oop, there's all my practicing. I was practicing how I was going to line it all up and if it was straight and how I was going to get all those extra letters in there. So I always practice. Now I'm going to use some Type Bond Quick and Thick and some hot glue. And I did spray that with a fixative, the front side of that with some fixative to seal that because it is going to be in the salon. Okay, now I am drilling some tiny little indentions just for some little pilot holes for my little eyelet screws. I think that's what they're called. Eyelet screws, yeah. And we are going to assemble our spindles. I don't think I got on camera that I did this same thing. Yep, see the spindles over there? They already have them in there. So we put the little eyelet screws on top of the spindles too, with the same process. I drilled a little tiny hole in the top of the spindle and put the eyelet screws on top of the spindles as well. So we have an eyelet screw. We're going to have 5 eyelet screws across the bottom of this long frame, right there, 5 of them. And then I have 5 spindles that have the eyelet screws in the top of them. And we're going to attach them with this beautiful white chiffon lace. And I'm going to use the tweezers because those eyelet screws are teeny-nincy. I'm just going to pull it through there. I'm only going to show you, I think, one of them that I did. But I did all 5 of them with this same method. And I tried to get them all even. I did use that little skewer on some of them to help me poke that through the hole, because see how tiny that little thing is? I don't know. I think I ordered them because I was ordering something else and I got the wrong ones. And I was like, oh, I'll put them in my stash. I'll use them for something someday. Well, someday is here and I'm using them. They came in very handy for this project. Now I'm just going to make it the length that I want them to hang. I'm kind of measuring them to see, you know, how long I want them to hang down. And then I'm going to cut that and then going to tie that up right at the bottom so I can leave a little bit hanging off so it doesn't look like a bow hanging off, but it's just cute little shabby pieces hanging off. And I do trim them up a little bit at the end. There, I think I'm just showing you that second one, how it looks. And then I do all 5 of them, and then here is our finished product. I could not really get a good picture with good lighting, but you will see it in the salon in the final reveal at the end. In the state of Texas, we are required to have this human trafficking sign posted in our salon. And so I printed it out on some rice paper and decided to make something cute. This was part of an old cabinet door. I cut the tops off and then I painted it. It was kind of a strange texture, so I thought I would just sponge the paint on there to give it a little extra texture. So I just put the paint on with the paintbrush and then just sponged it on. It went really fast. It was really good. So I put the Mod Podge. I didn't get it filmed. I put it on the back of this paper. The the ink did bleed just a tiny little bit, so I think I may have saturated it a little bit much. Then I dried it with my heat gun, and now it's all dry. I'm going to use the iron-on method. I'm going to put my parchment paper on top. I'm going to use my little mini heat press and iron it on. If you don't have a heat press, you can use a household iron to do this method. And you just don't want to use steam. That reactivates that glue and sets it in beautifully. And I never even seal it because that glue actually, almost, if it's a thin decoupage or like the rice paper, it comes all the way up to through the paper. Okay, I made these 2 little molds. This is from the Trimmings to Mold, I believe, from IOD. I made 2 of them. I'm going to put this Aged Gray by Rust-Oleum on it and some white wax. I am in love with this. It looks like concrete, or like those statues, you know, like the concrete statues. I love that look. So I'm going to put it on there, and then I like to put it on and let it sit for a little bit. And then I use the white wax to seal this all up really good. Because, you know, I don't know if you know, maybe you don't know, but in a salon, everything gets hair and hairspray all over it. So we want to seal stuff up as good as we can so that we can wipe it down. So we're going to wipe off as much of that white wax as we want. And we're going to attach these little molds to the top and the bottom as a border with some Titebond, quick and thick. And maybe a little hot glue. I don't remember. Yep, a tiny little bit of hot glue for a quick hold. So let's place that right up there on top for a border and right on bottom. And I will tell you, I put it in the salon, and everybody that has come by says, oh my goodness, you have to do something cute with mine too. So let me know what you think. This project was simple and cute, and I did it late at night and was not recording. This frame you will see in the salon had hearts in it. And I just took the hearts out. I put a piece of watercolor paper down. This was a redesign by Prima Rub-On Transfer. I just put it right on that watercolor paper. I put the watercolor paper on a piece of cardboard cut to size for this frame and put it in the frame. And that was easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I'm sorry I didn't get it on camera, but that is how easy it is to make over something. Okay, I'm in the salon. I'm doing the DIY in the salon, so the lighting is horrible. The angle's horrible. I apologize. But I took a little bit of that greenery I got from Temu, made a little tiny swag. I'm going to use some of these ribbons and this lace and all these little pretties, make a little shabby bow. And I had horrible scissors to cut with. Those are not my hair cutting scissors. Those are just some, well, they actually came in my very first kit I got in 1988 when I went to cosmetology school. And now I use them for utility scissors. I'm just going to use my little, I'm even using my mini hot glue gun that I have at work. And I'm just going to glue everything down just to make a little mini swag on my licensing frame. Just to zhuzh it up just a little bit. And that is that. So here we go. I'm going to show you the before and the after and let you see what it looked like before. And then look, notice that cabinet, the cabinet color, that dull, dingy color, and that mirror. Just all the things, just be observant. There's those scissors and that shelf. And there's that human trafficking sign, just a piece of paper I had stuck on the wall. And my little table. And my aprons hung on push pins. Yes, there's that sign, human trafficking. We need to be sure we pray for all the people who are caught up in that God will protect them and expose the people who are misusing and mistreating people. And there's that frame I was just talking about with the hearts in it. And that is how I used to store my pens and pencils. I still have that. I love it. Okay, are you ready for this? Here we go. Painted the door white. Aprons are hanging from the beautiful spindle. You will recognize some of these things as I've done them over the past few weeks. I will link all the videos in the description box below in case you missed any of the projects that I did in this salon makeover. You can go back and watch them. And I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you watching all the videos. I appreciate all your kind words. It really does help and encourage and keep us going on YouTube. So let me know what your favorite makeover piece or addition to this salon makeover was. Love my new white cabinet. It just brightened up the room so much. And when I created this little caddy, I told you that you wouldn't be able to see one side of it because that's how it sits. And it does not need the bottom in it because all my products are just going to sit in there, and the bottom always gets really grungy. So this way I can just move that and wipe the bottom and keep it all nice and tidy. And there's my new mirror. I purchased that off Marketplace at a really good price. It was already gray. I just had to do a little touch-up paint. Already had the little candle holder, little candle sconce. And I added these molds to that IKEA shelf, that floating shelf. That is from the Trimmings 2 mold. I believe it's the Trimmings 2 mold. And yes, I painted them gray, did white wax, and then I used Tite Bond and hot glue to adhere them. And there's our beautiful little table with the coasters on it. Thanks for watching this video to the end. Don't forget to stay after and watch the ad for the Crafty Cruise Getaway. It's going to be a blast. Like the one that we went on earlier this year was fantastic. You don't want to miss it. Make plans to go. But most of all, remember to be still and know that He is God.
The Crafty Cruise Getaway, where creativity sets sail once again. Join us on Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Seas, sailing out of the port of Galveston, Texas.
Prepare to be dazzled as we stop in Costa Maya and in Cozumel. Just like our maiden voyage, we will host exclusive crafting workshops on sea days. We have some amazing projects lined up for you that guarantee something for everyone to enjoy.
For the Crafty Cruise Getaway 2025, we're introducing our newest sponsor, We Create. Elevate your crafting with the state-of-the-art laser engraver and cutter, valued at over $1,500. We are thrilled to give away one of these amazing lasers as a door prize to one lucky participant.
Mark your calendars for February 17th through the 22nd and join us on the Crafty Cruise Getaway for creativity, relaxation, and lasting memories. To book your spot, visit www.craftycruisegetaway.com. See you on board in 2025.